Gonna get a little history infusion in your brain. So much of U.S. history has been lost in time. Let's see how many of these little known facts you know. Are you as learned as you may think? Hello, dweebers. I am the Ezis, and welcome to DweebFeedTV. After some extensive research into the sloppy, muddy depths of U.S. history, I come across some tidbits of unknown facts that seem to have just been drifted away into the ether. I know I didn't learn most of this stuff in school when I was growing up. Maybe some of you know some of them. Chances are most of you don't, because some of these things are pretty damn obscure. So without further ado, here we go.
10 things you didn't know about American history because it was decided to leave them out for some reason or whatever.
Number 1. The original name of Georgia State Capitol was, indeed, Terminus, which simply means the end of a railroad. In 1836, Georgia decided to extend the railroad. A stake was planted in the ground with the word Terminus on it, and well, the name just seemed to stick. Years later, the area would be named Marthasville and eventually Atlanta, which is otherwise known as Hotlanta. Would have been odd with a nickname like Hot Terminus. All the fun and none of the cannibalism. Well, as far as I know, anyway. Number 2! For 15 years during the Cold War, the launch codes for the U.S. nuclear armament was 00000000. Yes, 8 zeros repeated. Apparently our leaders thought that no spy would think that the most powerful country in the world would be stupid enough to simply take 8 zeros in a row as, well, the codes for the most powerful weapons ever made. But hey, no one figured it out, and I guess we were kind of lucky that Michael J. Fox wasn't a spy. That would have been bad. 0. Ooh, I got lucky. I'm going to hell for that joke. Number 3. Jimmy Carter, the 39th U.S. president, born in 1924, was the first commander-in-chief of our great nation that was born in a hospital. Yeah, to the 39th? I guess former leaders of the free world were born in cottages, horse-drawn wagons, the back room of a seedy tavern, or a friendly stranger's manger. Wait, that's the wrong guy. Number 4, precious! That was awful. The largest bill in the U.S. created for general use was the $10,000 bill, which depicted Salmon Chase, Secretary of Treasury under Lincoln and a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The largest bill ever printed was the $100,000 bill, which had Woodrow Wilson, but it was used for internal transactions only. Yes, there was a president named Woodrow. Calm yourself. I would have loved to see the face on the cashier at Walmart when I tried to purchase 2 pairs of socks, condoms, and a Hello Kitty lunchbox for a $10,000 bill. I'd probably still get the crappy attitude we normally get, and chances are they wouldn't be able to figure out the math.
Number 5 will always love you.
This one will probably come as a surprise to most of the people around here. Believe it or not, Christmas was illegal in America. Early settlers were primarily Protestant, and considered Christmas a creation of the church and not of Christ. And they detested the festivities that came with the holiday, like drinking, partying, gambling, all the fun stuff. Alabama was the first state to lift the ban in 1836, with the last holdout being Oklahoma until 1907. But what did early settlers do on December 25th while traveling down the old Oregon Trail, besides breaking wagon wheels, hunting deer, and dying of dysentery? Poor Andy. Number 6. This was not exactly ancient history, but it's still history, and don't you forget it. The Library of Congress has been archiving all tweets since 2010. Twitter signed a deal with the government which gave them access to all tweets going back to 2006 when the company began. The tweets, which have amounted to over the hundreds of billions, which have become increasingly difficult to document and especially to go through. I'm sure glad the government has been on the lookout for terrorists, what the Kardashians have been up to, how your last meal at IHOP was overly salty, and what you feel like after a wet poop, after a late-night bender and some drunken Taco Bell. Number 7. Virginia has been the birthplace of more U.S. presidents than any other state in the nation, having given birth to 8 presidents including Washington, Jefferson, and Woodrow Wilson. I'm from Rhode Island. I'm pretty glad that no one around here has ever been president. These corrupt, boggle-minded kleptos, I wouldn't trust them to get me a cup of coffee, not to be leader of the free world. Even the FBI recently has said they're sick of coming down here and arresting people. It's a sad state of affairs.
Get back, you eight-legged freaks!
Though it's still debated to this day, it is still widely accepted that during the time of Prohibition, which was the banning of alcohol for those of you not in the know, which was nationwide from 1920 to 1933, it is believed that the government poisoned vast amounts of illegally made hooch to discourage drinking, which led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans. Sometimes after a rough day, you need that bathtub mint julep, but it could bring you to an early grave.
Bakuro number 9, strike!
The California grizzly bear, or Ursus arctos californicus, if you want to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. Is a state animal of California, despite the last bear being killed in 1922. Though it was reported that a lone bear was wandering around the Sierra Madres in 1924. Seems California is so laid back, they don't even seem to care about anything outside of burritos, surfing, or which governor is banging his maid. Our state animal is extinct? Ain't nobody got time for that. And finally, number 10. Though the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, the U.S. was not actually a nation until 1781, with the signings of the Articles of Confederation. But George Washington did not take office until 1789. Whatever happened to the other 8 years? We just wandered around like Planet of the Apes? Congress, which included Washington, elected a public official from Maryland, John Hanson, as the first man for the job, who held office for just under 1 year. And he is credited with establishing the Great Seal of the United States.
No, not that seal. There we go.
And declared that Thanksgiving be the 4th Thursday of every November. Thanks for the long weekend. Now we can mentally prepare for a fun-filled holiday with the family. In fact, including Hanson, 8 men held the office of president, all for about a year each, before Washington became the first president under the newly ratified Constitution. But not like they teach that part of U.S. history to any of the nation's children in school. But what else are they leaving out? Well, that's it for this list. A new random video will be put out about once a week. Maybe twice if I get bored, or I don't end up busy with other content we plan on making for this channel. I try to stay away from what others may be posting, to give everyone a chance to educate themselves with something different. Because we all need to be educated. Please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. Until next time, Dweebers, the Exodus is out. I don't want to fall out the chair.